Hello, hello. Welcome back to Dating After Divorce for Women. Break free from attracting the same old partners to attract love that is deep, committed, and secure interview series. It is your Give It To Me Straight resource for practical and actionable advice that is going to take you one step closer to attracting love that is deep, committed, and secure. I am your host, Stephanie Flagari, and today we have Anni-Mari Bruyn, who is a certified career counselor, relationship and dating coach, and Gottman Leader of the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work Couples program. Recognized as a leading relationship coach by the Coach Foundation, she is trained in Gottman Method Couples Therapy and trauma informed approaches. Anni-Mari specializes in empowering single women to overcome dating frustrations, attract compatible partners, and build fulfilling relationships. Through her coaching, she focuses on developing clear communication skills, establishing healthy boundaries, and boosting confidence to navigate the dating scene effectively. Today, we have the privilege of diving into an insightful conversation with Anni-Mari. She she not only possesses the expertise to help others attract compatible partners, but she also has the tools, expert insights, and advice to help you navigate the dating world with confidence. A lot may have changed since you were last single, and Anni-Mari is here to provide you with the Give It To Me Straight goods. Get ready to move one step closer to attracting love as we dive into this empowering discussion on navigating the dating world with confidence. So, Anni-Mari, why don't you start off by sharing a little bit about your story and about how you got where you are today?
Hello, and thank you for having me, and thank you for this introduction.
Thank
And
you.
I'm really excited to be here today and also share some of my knowledge and expertise with our listeners. And I think that the way my journey really started was from early childhood because I grew up without a model of healthy relationship. So I had no idea what a healthy relationship looks like. And I believe that I'm not the only one who might have that experience. And then you have to learn how to differentiate between what is healthy, what is working, and how to build that healthy relationship with yourself and with your partner. And from that, I actually discovered the Gottman research, which was a game changer for me. I realized that there's tools available which are based on 40 years of research and that can really make a difference of how we approach relationships. There are simple tools that we can use to improve our communication and that really differentiate between the couples that stay together and the ones that even after a seemingly perfect fairy tale beginning end up drifting apart. And we have so much power in a way of how we approach relationships and how we can build the relationships.
Thank you for giving a little bit of insight, and I got to agree with you that I'm sure for the majority of all of the women that are tuning in, they can agree and say the same thing about whether it be their parents or their caretakers or um, who they were around during childhood may not have been you know, the right role models, if you will, or actually seen those healthy relationships, or we wouldn't be here, if you
Yeah.
will. So it's definitely very relatable to knowing that aspect of, okay, that may not have been so healthy. But diving right in, the dating landscape has likely changed since many of our viewers were last single. What are some of the key things that you've observed about this evolution? And how does this changing landscape potentially impact divorce women specifically?
Yes, I believe that the dating landscape might have significantly changed depending on how long our viewers have been single, or in many cases, they were never really single. Maybe they got into a relationship straight away. Maybe they married their childhood high school sweetheart, something like that. And maybe they don't even have that experience of going out and dating. And today, especially with this culture of dating apps and the hookup culture that dating apps have created, it can be quite intimidating landscape to explore. And also, we need to be aware of the scammers. Also, there is a lot of dating scams happening. There is men who prey on vulnerable women, unfortunately, and we need to be aware of that. So we need to really consider our safety and also consider our intentions when we date. We need to be aware that there is men out there who might be playing us, and we need to be aware of that. And maybe this was not something that you knew or experienced previously, because the dating landscape has changed significantly.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Because I know for a lot of or many women, when you first initially get back out there, it is overwhelming. And
Mhm.
many of the women, they have been in these marriages for, some that are like 10, 20, 30 years. And it's like when you step out there, it's a whole new world. Like, do I
Yeah.
even want to be doing this? So thank you for really speaking into that, because that is a challenge for women. And how can you overcome that, especially for the new language, the new trends, and what is going on even for today. So thank you for that. And for those that are tuning in, are there certain things one should avoid or lean more into while keeping the changing landscape or dating in mind? So is there any tips to go with the trends? How can they navigate that a little bit better?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's important to approach dating with a little bit of intention and getting really clear about what you're looking for, what kind of partner are you looking for, what kind of relationship are you looking for, and also do a kind of a relationship autopsy type of thing, where you go back and look at your previous relationship and see what did you do right, what did you do wrong, what was the part of your partner, and how can we ensure that the next relationship is not bringing the same dynamic, and so that you will not end up having the same relationship that you had with a new person, right?
Very true, very true. And part of that is kind of reflecting back and uh, seeing not only the parts that may have been wrong, or
Mhm.
what your past partner had did, but also looking at yourself and kind of asking yourself those same kind of questions, so you're not repeating those same mistakes. So I loved how you're saying being intentional and kind of looking at it also in that way when you approach dating. Um, what are some of the tips and key strategies for women to approach dating with confidence? I know that, again, everything we just mentioned, it's like, well, okay, I know I want to get back out there, but I'm nowhere near feeling ready or right. And I don't feel confident at all. So, is there any tips that you can give the women out there to kind of help them ease in, or even if they are getting those repeated partners that they are attracting?
Yes, definitely. And even though it might sound like a cliche, I really believe that self-care and self-love is so important. Really taking care of yourself and putting yourself first, and making sure that you spend time with yourself, that you really enjoy your own company, and then you bring that persona that is already fulfilled into the dating arena where you meet another person that can then enhance your happiness as well. And to really spend time dating yourself first as well, especially if you've been in this long, very long relationship and you maybe also
Yeah.
have kids and you had this very busy life. And then at some point you maybe you don't even never took this time to stop and look at what do I want and who am I as a person besides of being a mother and a wife and all of that and go really in to take that time and get to know yourself again. And also you might have changed since you were last single and spending time on your own. And so that's where you can build that confidence that you just feel comfortable in your skin as well. And then also uh, approaching the dating from this point of view that you're not there to impress anyone. You just bring your best self forward, and you rather look at how are your dates showing up, and are your values aligned? Um, how do their actions align with their words? And
Yep.
be wary of very big promises that are coming early on. And another tip that I find very useful is don't spend too much time chatting online because you're facing the threat of creating that false sense of intimacy and connection with someone that you haven't even met. So it's always better to meet up as quickly as possible to really explore the connection, the possible connection, and then also you don't waste too much time because that's the danger of talking to someone that you haven't met and having long chats on a daily basis is that you can create that false sense of intimacy and connection. And you don't even know them. And then when you meet up, there might be no connection there in real life. And also they might present a different persona in person and online.
Oh, I like that tip. That is an amazing tip right there where I guess like that's where you want to feel out the person other than just what you mentioned having that false sense of intimacy and
Mm-hmm.
this might be the one. He could
Mm-hmm.
be this big grand guy. This is the person.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times we as women, we can get, involved with the butterflies and
Yeah.
emotions and um, building up this guy. Exactly what you just said. So I loved how you're saying, hey, let's kind of take a step back, but also kind of feel them out when you meet them instead of actually building this talking on talking for a while and kind of building it up in that way. So thank you for that. And in your expert opinion, should you be dating when your confidence in yourself and or dating is low?
I recommend to hold on with dating and really more focus on dating yourself, as I mentioned,
Yeah.
taking yourself out on a nice dinner or movie or anything like that, or just take some classes that you enjoy and really build that confidence up. Because if you don't really feel that confidence and you feel like feeling low and not ready to commit to going out there and dating and spending that time, you also might attract the type of guys that sense that and can take advantage of that. So it's better to really work on that confidence. Spend more time with your friends. Spend more time that you can feel that you know what. It's important to take the time after your breakup as well to really recover and go through the emotions
I know like
before you jump into dating.
excuse me.
Hmm.
I don't want to
Yeah.
talk over you. But like for kind of speaking into that, I know there might be someone out or some women out there that where, their friends like set them up on dates or such as blind dates or hey, come and meet, this guy because it's a friend of a friend and
Hmm.
they might be like not in that space of like, hey, I'm not ready for that. Don't feel up to it. I don't feel right. I'm don't feel I'm ready. And that is also where like that confidence can come into play is by either, you know, friends or family also bringing them in and them like, okay, I don't feel confident enough to go out there and be dating again.
Yeah,
I don't want to go through that same old cycle. Um,
yeah.
and can you still attract a partner even when your confidence in yourself or dating scene is low?
Yes, I think so. I mean, it's important to take the time to, as I mentioned, to get comfortable in your own skin and to really enjoy your own company first. But at the same time, dating is also a process and it's a learning process as well. Sometimes that you need to put yourself out there and have that experience of meeting new people and how to talk to strangers as well, right? And to how to practice that, how to show up on a date and how to have a nice conversation. And I think one of the very important tips that I somehow discovered while I was single myself and dating before I met my husband was this approach, I would say, or a shift in mindset that I dropped expectations that every interaction needs to lead somewhere, or that any guy that I meet or go on a date might be my future husband, or
Yeah.
instead I really shifted that mindset into every interaction that I have can bring me something positive, can bring me something nice, and it doesn't have to lead somewhere bigger. Sometimes it's just a beautiful compliment that you were given by someone that makes your day, and that's it. It doesn't mean that it has to lead somewhere, or it's a nice dinner, or a beautiful concert, or another great experience, or just a nice conversation, and that can be it. Maybe that's it. It doesn't have to lead somewhere. So if you can manage that part of the expectations and just enjoy the process and approach dating with curiosity and enjoyment and fun and drop that expectations, but at the same time keep the standards high, then that can be quite useful as well.
Thank you for that because I also think for some they may feel okay, well, I feel obligated that I have to go on this like second date or third date or you know uh, numerous of
Yes.
dates when they know like okay, I feel like he's definitely we don't mesh, we're not compatible, and they may not even know exactly why, but inside they don't want to feel bad for
Hmm.
okay, I have to go on this second date. And I loved
Yes.
how you mentioned, okay, let's kind of look at our expectations for this date. It doesn't have to be some grandiose, big, big thing with a
Yeah.
lot of pressure to make this a magical or, you know, we're going to get married, but at the same time, it's not to suck you in and make you feel obligated that you have to stay with them. It could be a nice coffee. So thank you for that tip. That is a beautiful tip for the women out there that are chiming in to kind of keep in mind when they're approaching dating. Um,
Mhm.
and are there any specific tools or techniques that you recommend for managing the challenges of online dating?
Yes, I guess I already mentioned just meeting up as quickly as possible. If you feel like, if you coach that there is their interest and there might be some shared interests or values, and you feel like this person matches with you, I don't recommend meeting up on each and every one. As you said, also be selective on your dates. That way, if you Yes, yes, exactly. Because this way you can really avoid the dating burnout that can happen, the frustration that can happen that you feel like, oh, I cannot go to another date
Yeah.
because if you accept, yes, exactly. Because if you accept those very low level dates or like even if you don't really feel something but you think like, okay, I need to go, then that's not always, it can actually create that but dating fatigue and feeling like, you know what, I've had enough. I don't want to go out anymore. But if you are more selective on the dates and really see how are they make it you should make an effort. Let the man be a man. Let them plan the dates and take you out. And if
Yeah.
it's just yeah, so I think that's very important point here is to don't plan dates yourself and don't ask men out. I don't recommend that because in that the way it can really shift the dynamic as well, and you don't really see who the man is and how they show up if you're doing all the hard work.
Very true. We don't need that. We're trying to
Yeah,
attract someone that we desire, not the same old. So, yes, thank you
yeah,
for that. And
and
is there such a thing as finding the perfect guy or a partner that is your type? I know like we had went and covered over expectations. Is there such
mhm,
thing as having too high of standards and our expectations way up here when it comes to that? Or what is your
yes,
thoughts on that?
yes, absolutely. It's important to, first of all, yes, you need to be very clear about what kind of partner are you looking for, but also look at what kind of partner are you and how do you show up and to see if that's aligned. Like if you are looking for this type of person, are you the type of person that matches with that person as well? So you need to look at that. Is it aligned? And then absolutely look at the list of if like I recommend making a list of the qualities that you're looking for in this potential partner and that worked for you previously. And but look at that list, and instead of focusing on these very superficial qualities, I recommend looking at shared values. I think this is the most important thing. Also, look at how do you both of you like to spend money because there is most of marriages actually have most of the fights about money. How do like one of them likes to really spend and enjoy life, and the other one likes to save and not spend at anything, and that creates a lot of friction within the
Yeah.
relationship. And it's a good idea to look at that while dating, because while you're dating, this is a really good way to see how you match, and those very deep rooted values are the most important things that should match because we need to be also careful about the type that we have or who we are attracted to
Yeah.
because sometimes there might be some type of trauma bonding happening or we might be attracted to this certain type of person which maybe is not the most healthiest match for us. So it's important to understand why are you attracted to someone, what is the reasons there, is it just physical? Because I always say as well that it's important to kind of you really need to listen to the person's actions louder than your own feelings sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you might really like the person, but if they're not showing up, if they're not being reliable, then it's not a great match.
Thank you for mentioning about looking at what their actions are as opposed to your emotions and your feelings. I know as women in general, we can already get caught up in all those feel good, feelings and those butterflies, and that's kind of hard to overcome. Just like how you mentioned with that trauma bonding part there. But are there any shared tastes and interests that one must have, or is that a must for online dating? Or could there also be where both partners have different things that they're involved in like certain things?
Yes, I believe that it might be more helpful. It might make this dating journey easier for you if you do share some interests, and it can also make it easier to meet potential matches through your common interests or hobbies. But it is definitely not a must. You can have totally separate hobbies, and there's plenty of people that still make the relationship work, even though they have completely different interests. So it's not a must to have that type of compatibility. But it is important to consider does do your values, your most principles and important values, do they match? And one of the things that I would say is very important to consider, and that I feel like it's not nearly talked enough about, is actually also check check with your compatibility of your financial goals and how you view money per se, because that's one of the main areas of
Yeah.
friction within relationships. Because it really seems like some people really enjoy spending money and enjoying their life, whereas the other type of people, they really want to save up and be more frugal about their expenses. And it can create a lot of friction when these two get together. And I've seen it happen numerous times that they somehow seem to attract each other and create a lot of tension and friction within this relationship. So it's very kind of useful to look into that as well while dating, to see, do your spending habits and financial goals especially, do they align? Like if you are someone who likes to invest in experiences, and your partner rather save up for something big, or they don't like enjoy eating out, for example, it's a very simple example, but then it's also something to consider. And at the same time, you also need to think about that, just because you do share a lot of common interests, that doesn't automatically mean that this is a great match for you as well. So you need to look at the whole picture.
Thank you for that. I mean, even with those examples, they were well put. And a big
Mhm.
one is that financial aspect where everything is fine and great, but you start dabbling or tiptoeing and you start getting involved more, and you start really seeing how not
Mhm.
compatible or how different your um mentalities are with spending, with saving, with not. And I know that that could be a very touchy issue, so thank you for bringing that up. That is definitely something to even consider. And what's your recommendation for binding confidence on dates and in early interactions? I know we touched
I
about
think.
it a little bit, but was there
Mhm.
anything that you can chime in more or elaborate on?
Yes, we did talk about it previously, but I think it's important to mention again, or to remind ourselves that it's crucial to have that self-care part and to really approach dating not from the aspect of, how can I impress these people or my dates, or how can I, make them like me, or how do I, make sure that I'm going to get the second date. It's more about, how do I feel about this date, and um, how do I show up as well? And am I actually enjoying their company? And also do things that you enjoy, and don't agree on dates that is taking you totally out of your comfort zone as well, especially in the beginning of the dating phase. Like when you really, like as a first date, don't agree to go somewhere which is like completely out of your comfort zone, because that can add an extra pressure and extra anxieties, and that type of environment where you don't feel good. So I do recommend to pick and choose the dates more carefully as well. Like, but you don't always have to say yes to each and every invitation that you receive or the dating request. And also, if while dating, you realize that this is not a match, then don't look for reasons to, like, if it doesn't feel right, for example, then you don't need to look for reasons why. If it doesn't feel right, you give yourself permission to move on and continue your dating journey and find other dates.
Oh, like feel obligated that you have to
Yeah,
go on another date and another date just because they bought you dinner, or you don't
yes.
want to make them feel bad for like this.
Hmm.
We're really not a good match, but that that's
Yeah,
okay too. You have to
yes.
kind of listen
And
to
don't,
what is
and
also
never,
going on the inside.
yes, and never underestimate red flags. If the red flags that occur during dating days, it's really a good indicator for you to make decisions that it might not be the best idea to continue as well. And just to get out of uncomfortable situations. Yes. soon as you can as well. You don't need to put up with someone who's disrespecting you or making you feel uncomfortable. To really worry more about how you feel and that you feel safe and you feel good rather than what do they think about me, you know? I think that is something that hasn't been shared enough for women to really consider how we feel and how can we feel safe and comfortable.
I love that. And that is first and foremost, yes, that the safety, feeling safe and being okay also on the inside. Um, but what would be the best way with dealing with ghosting? For the women that have either experienced that, are experiencing that, and are kind of worried about this happening. What would be the best way to handle this situation?
Yes, this is a really good question, and I find it very relevant in today's world of dating and especially dating apps and this whole idea or this best way to deal with ghosting, which of course can be quite hurtful experience, and it can make you feel like maybe I'm not good enough, or what did I do wrong, or
Right.
you maybe had a very nice date or few dates, and you were thinking that things were going really great, and suddenly you don't hear from them anymore, and it can come out of the blue because it was unexpected. Then the best way to deal with this is to really shift your focus and first of all recognize that this is not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. And look at it from the perspective that even though you maybe enjoyed their company and they made a really great first impression, but now this action of ghosting, this action of not showing up enough to tell you that, you know what, thank you, but I'm not interested. It shows more about that person's character than however they behaved or showed up until now. So you really need to look at it in a way of that it is actually a protection for you. That this person, we might even use the expression of saying that the trash took themselves out, right? So it's
Yes.
a person who's showing you who they really are. It shows that they are not emotionally mature enough or capable enough to tell you that, you know, thank you, I'm not interested anymore. Instead, they choose the way of just ghosting
Avoiding.
and not considering your feelings. So it's important to really take that step back and realize that whatever happened until this moment that this person decided not to respond to you anymore or take you out anymore, it's more important than whatever happened before. And if you still find that it's difficult to that you feel really you feel like you need a closure or something like that. And I do also recommend to write a letter. Just write whatever you feel like you wanted to tell them, but don't send it to them. It's just for you to process the feelings of hurt and disappointment, and just get it out there and move on. And don't keep messaging or calling or anything like that. This person has already showed you that they have no interest in showing up as a potential partner to you because they don't have the emotional maturity to tell you that they're not interested. So you deserve better than that. And keep that in mind.
Thank you. That was, I love that, where the emotional maturity is definitely not
Mhm.
there and it's lacking, and they already shown you in that action alone. So why would you want to be with someone like that? Thank you for giving those tips for the women out there if they have ever faced that or are afraid that it's going to happen. It's okay. Let's not go down that road of it's there's something wrong with me. Um, so I understand that you have a free goodie to share with those that are tuning in. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I have a little gift for all our viewers. And I have compiled this dating journal for dating with intention, which really helps you get clarity and approach dating with a sense of intention to analyze your dates and prepare for your dates and also have those self-reflections and little prompts that is very useful to getting back out there and start your dating journey or continue the dating journey, and really helps you get closer to the next level of your life.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you for sharing that gift with for those that are tuning in. And go ahead and click the link down below to pick that journal up. And Anni-Mari, is there any last piece of advice or actionable step that you want the listeners to leave with today?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I want to really say that thank you for everybody who showed up, and really it's a big step that you have decided to, change your patterns and look into what you can do from your side to change the next relationship dynamic, and make sure that your next relationship is not the same with a different person that you've had until now. So that is already a big step. And another thing that I think it's important to say as well is, like, when you've been through a breakup or a divorce, and this devastating experience, this doesn't really define you, and this doesn't define you as a person. And I know it might often make you feel as a failure, but rather than looking at it as a failure, look at it as a lesson that you've learned, and look at all the amazing things that you got out of that experience, either it's the children or like many years of incredible experiences. And so look at that as a chapter of the book of your life. It's just one chapter. It's not the whole book of your life. And now it's time to create a new chapter, and move on. And you're doing really well already. You're great that you showed up and you keep showing up for yourself, and take it one day at a time. And really, I'm wishing you best of luck out there. Remember that you really deserve everything that you desire.
That was well said. Yes, this isn't your end of, your story, your book, your novel. That was just a tiny, tiny little, chapter. Now it's on to like bigger and better and new experiences that will help you grow from it. Thank you for that. Um, Thank you so much for sharing your expert advice and valuable insights with us today. It was fun and great having you. And for those that are listening, make sure you grab the free journal and click the link down below and make sure you grab that. And also be sure to tune back in for the rest of our Dating After Divorce Women interview series. Thank you for joining us today.